Hey, welcome to our channel. I'm Elma. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. As you've seen from the title, I'm going to be recreating this look that Meg Thee Stallion wore for the New York City premiere of Mean Girl the musical. Honestly, I saw this look and I just like screenshot. I need to recreate this because I thought it was like so pretty. Plus, I thought whilst I do that, let me give you a little story time about my tattoo fail. So grab a little snack, get comfortable, and let's get right into this video. Make sure you like this video and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and share it with other people so they too can see how your girl once found herself being a complete dumbass.
I gotta tell you something I could do.
Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. I have already done my brows because I find that they're the longest to get going, and I tried my best to keep them as thin as Meg did in her look. And one thing I noticed, and I'm gonna do this on camera because I don't do this anymore, but her brows seem to be a bit cleaned up underneath. Usually I just allow the brows to lay where they are, but I'm gonna be going in with the Pat McGrath Labs. That's what I'm also gonna be using for under my eye as well. It's kind of like the color of my skin, just a smidge lighter, not too much. So I'm just gonna use that with a flat brush. So this is how I used to clean up my brows back in the days when this story happened. So this happened damn near 10 years ago. This was like in 2015. I'm gonna give you a little backstory so like I can kind of like low-key set the scene. So what happened was when we were in Cuba with my besties Stephanie and Tracy, you know, there were a whole bunch of like Quebecois and Canadians who decided they're gonna get themselves a tattoo in Cuba. To each their own, but I'm the kind of person, I'm like, I'm in a country, I don't know where anything is, and safety measures, let me go to my usual tattoo artist that I know and that I trust. But it was like such a nice idea because they all came out with a tattoo like La Familia or some Fast and Furious shit like that. And when the girls were like, yo, this would be really cool to get like a tattoo. Obviously not La Familia, but Stephanie was like, I don't really know, because Stephanie's not gonna get a tattoo, I feel. I said it, Steffi, I don't think you're ever gonna get a tattoo because it's not, it doesn't, I don't know, I don't feel like it's your aesthetic. And Tracy at the time, had Tracy had a tattoo? I don't know if Tracy had a tattoo at the time, but I don't think she was as hot for it as I was. And I was like, you know what, I really want to get a tattoo. And I started thinking about it. So at some point we went on this boat ride thingy and there were like Italians there. And I was like, at this point I'm like, what, 23 or something like that, some dumb shit like that. And I asked them, hey, how do you say, oh my god, Elma, so original, how do you say never a mistake, always a lesson in Italian? So I'm gonna start off with this Huda Beauty matte and metal melted shadows, and this is going to be in the color Wednesday. I'm just gonna put it in the inner corner over here so that the other purples can like really pop. All the products that I'm using are going to be listed in the description box below, so don't hesitate to check it out for details on what's what. So I'm just going to put this in the inner corner. So the translation to that was mai un errore sempre una lesione. Lesione. Anyway, I was like, okay, cool. So I wrote it down, went about my life in Cuba, just enjoying, you know, just living my best life. But it was definitely at the back of my mind. So this was like during summer. So, you know, it was one of those summer things. And I was like, okay, if I want to get tattooed, where do I want to get tattooed? I was asking my besties, what do you think about this and here and the other? I was like hyped. I was like, I couldn't wait to get back to Montreal and to book an appointment with my tattoo artist and just, you know, get the show. I say my tattoo artist, but like the tattoo parlor I usually would go to. So I was just, you know, very excited, very giddy. I kept on looking at Pinterest for locations. I was like, do I want it on like my shoulder? Do I want it down my spine? Like I had a whole bunch of ideas, and I already had a couple of tattoos already. So I knew I wanted it to be somewhere discreet actually. I was like, maybe not the spine, but you know, just somewhere nice and cute. And I was like, okay, I know where I'll do it. I'll do it on my upper thigh. Just that. that area. Then I'm gonna be using the NATASHA DENONA Pastel palette, and I'm gonna go in with this color here for the center of the lid. For now, I'm just laying down the product, kind of mapping everything out. Now I'm gonna go with this color over here. Now, using the Huda Beauty Nude Light palette, I'm gonna start off with this color over here to smoke out the outer corner like Meg did. I'm gonna go in with the brown over here. And to darken that area, I'm gonna go with the Makeup by Mario Master Matte palette. I'm gonna go in with this brown. Once I knew where I wanted to get my tattoo done, it was just a question of like, you know, me arriving in Montreal. And so it did not immediately happen because I had a wedding to attend. So I had to like wait it out a little bit before I could actually get it done. Also, I was questioning whether or not I wanted to go to my usual tattoo parlor. I'm just gonna go with the purple Smart Sparkly from the Artist Couture palette, and this is the color Glorious. And I'm just gonna go in with my fingers and just tap it in my inner corner. I'm just gonna go back with a fluffy brush and this light brown color and just blend over here. We're gonna leave the eye for now, and we're gonna just go to the face, and I'm gonna prime with the Milk Primer. So once I finally arrived to Montreal, I decided, you know what, let me just look into my tattoo a little bit more, make sure, especially writing something in a foreign language, you just want to make sure. So I'm ready to book my session because I'm really giddy at this point. What I'll be using is the Makeup Forever HD Skin, and my shade is in 3Y40. This foundation, I forget how much I love it. And I think what Megan is wearing is something like similar. It just gives you like flawless skin, but it's still like breathable, and it just looks beautiful. So now comes the time that I've booked my appointment. I'm ready. I am certain I want what I wrote. And the thing is, I'm trying to think back, but I don't actually remember where I confirmed the spelling. I'm gonna contour with the Patrick Ta for face bronzer and contour. Anyway, so that's the thing, like I don't remember where I confirmed the spelling of everything, because like I knew what the Italian dude on the boat had said in Cuba, but I don't think I really, like, I don't know, like I had written it down. I don't remember if I probably wrote it down in my notes. I had figured out also the font I wanted it to be in, something that would give the effect of how the writing on the inside of the ring of power is, like something along those lines. Let's do this. So I went to get inked. I showed the dude the thing. He's like, are you sure about the font? Are you sure about this? I was like, yeah. He places it like the stencil on my thigh, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is where I want it. I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. It's so dainty. Takes the shape of my thigh, and I'm like, I'm ready for this. So one thing I noticed with this look is like Meg doesn't have much blush. So I'm really mapping out my contour really nicely because it's gonna low-key serve as my blush. So I'm really bringing it high up here and contouring it down there. So the tattoo guy tattoos, and honestly, it's not my first tattoo. It does not hurt, especially in that area, because like I said, I have thick thighs. There's fat there. And so all goes well. Like I don't feel pain. I want to say like in about 5 minutes, pretty much done. Like it's a simple tattoo, no complications thing, you know. Got out of the tattoo store. He's like, you know, make sure, you know, you apply this and the other, you wash it, don't scratch, don't this, it's gonna peel, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool, 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 cool. Very excited. It looked beautiful. When I say I felt sexy, I was like, hey, baby, look at this. Isn't it so cute? And he was like, yeah. And this is where things start to, should I say go wrong? Is that the word, go wrong? Okay, so I'm gonna go in with some highlighter, and the thing is, she doesn't really seem to have like loads of highlighter on the cheeks. It seemed to be more in the center, so I'm gonna go with the Refi highlighting balm in the center, and then just highlight a little bit with some powder, just a little bit on the sides of my face. So basically, I decided, you know what, it's time for me to low-key debut my tattoo on Instagram. And I was like, you know, as a good content creator does, I decided to, you know, look up the hashtags and everything. And that is when I realized, oh wow, Elma, you flipping idiot, what have you done, girl? Like what? Like So I go looking for mai un errore sempre una lesión. And let me tell you, okay, I had spelled errore wrong. Errore is with 2 R's, and my errore was with 1 R. Oh gosh. How can I explain how gutted I felt in that moment and how stupid I felt? I was just like, wow, Elma, you have just freshly tattooed on your body. The irony of it all, right, is not lost on me. Never a mistake, always a lesson. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Nars for the France highlighter on my cheekbones. And so I was gutted. I was just like, wow, Elma, of all the spelling mistakes, of all the tattoos, this is the one. Wow, honestly, just in that moment, when I tell you that I felt my ancestors laughing at me, I felt my ancestors laugh at me. And the thing is, I told my boyfriend, obviously, he exploded laughing. Was I offended? Of course, but did I laugh along with him? Honestly, at this point, like, it was one of those moments where I decided, Elma, just take the L. When the embarrassment 10 years later would have left your body, come and say with your chest on the internet so people can come and laugh small. I still think back at it, and you know what, this is where I feel very lucky to know myself well. Remember, I was like, oh, let me do it in my spine or like somewhere, and then I decided on the thigh. So, my mistake wasn't like beam for everybody to see, but the thing is, I knew it was there. And it had to go. Chilled for a bit. I waited for it to heal, because I'm like, anyways, if I go now, it's not like they can do anything about it. It still needs to heal. Like, this is some new scarred, skin. Like, let's just get into the lips, and let me tell you how this ended. So I'm gonna go in with the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liner. This is in the color Dress to the 90s. It's this shade that's kind of like the color of my lips, and I think to map out Meg's lips before I get into the brown, I'm gonna go in with something that's more the color of my actual lip colors. I'm gonna start off here. Now I'm gonna go in with the color Bitch Perfect by Charlotte Tilbury. It's kind of like this pinky nude, and I'm gonna especially put in the center like she has. I think we're getting there. And now Iconic Nude by Charlotte Tilbury. It's kind of like a deeper shade of my lip color, and we're gonna start building that up. Meg has such beautifully shaped lips, kind of like a Bratz doll. I feel like the shape of her lips. Is it Bratz or no, Mycene? She has lips that are kind of like a Mycene doll, I find. And now we're gonna go in with that brown. This is Artist Color Pencil in Limitless Brown by Makeup Forever. Her Cupid's bow is a little more cushiony. Mine is more like centered, so I'm just following the shape of my own lips. And we're gonna add again a little bit more on the bottom in the center. And I feel that Meg has a little gloss going, and I'm gonna be using the Buxom Full On Lip Gloss in Celeste. It's everything. kind of like the energy they all gave me in the tattoo parlor when I ended up coming back a couple months later asking to do a cover up. And the tattoo guy looked at my tattoo and he was like, but this is a really beautiful tattoo. It's healed beautifully. It's nicely placed. The inking, yada, yada, yada. I was like, you know what? Cool. But I want to cover it up. And you're like, but why? And I'm like, at this point, the embarrassment is still there. Okay. And I say, well, because there's a spelling mistake. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, what does your tattoo mean? And I was like, well, it means always a lesson, never a mistake. And there's like a spelling mistake. And when I tell you that he burst out laughing, I was just taking it back. The next thing I know, he looks at me and he's like, is it okay if because, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm sure, no problem. So some of the other like tattooers come into the stall and they're like, what's up? It's like, yeah, so, you know, look at this. This will be like actually perfect for our book. And you're like, why? What happened? So I reiterate the story and they all burst out laughing. And I was just like, oh my God, does this ever end? And one of the like tattooers, he's like, do you mind if I take a photo of it, like our book? And I was like, you know what? At this point, let it be some kind of like lesson for someone down the line, because what's done is done. It's gonna be covered anyway, so have at it. So they took a photo of it. Since then I haven't gone back for a tattoo release, so I should probably check their books if they have my mistakes not to make. I ended up covering it up with beautiful flowers, so it's now a nicely covered up piece. I don't know if I will add color to the flowers one day. I do have like another flower here that is colored that I love a lot, so I don't know, maybe down the line I might color this one. I don't know, but then again, the shadowing on it is really beautiful. So yeah, that was my story. This is the look of Meg the Stallion. Tell me like in the comments below if I did well. Rate it for me. I'm gonna do a little like side by side Meg giving some sass, like isn't it giving? Like, I honestly am really happy about how this turned out. It kind of looked cuckoo crazy in the beginning. Also my wings, I'm not exactly sure that they're, you know, I feel like they're more cousins than sisters or anything, but I'm not mad at this. This lip is so pretty. And as you see, I have low-key the blonde going. I didn't have the whole full-on blonde wig, but I'm a braiding girl now, so I had blonde too. So I was like, this is actually perfect. And I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And definitely check out the videos that just popped up on here if you're interested. And I'll see you next time. Bye.